Hello, YTPC. Ethan, Parsimonious Piper here. Today we're going to talk about great teachers and do some shout-outs. But first, in a 1-star, pipe by Lee, not really sure. It's kind of a bent billiard with a bulldog stem. I have got some haunted pirate ship sent to me by Cosmo, Cat Dad Piper. As many of you know, it's a half and half blend of haunted bookshop and pirate cake, allowed to meld together for a month or so. Honestly, if I didn't know there was haunted bookshop in there, I probably wouldn't guess it. I happen to like both blends on their own quite a bit. Pirate cake, on the other hand, well, you're going from what, 3/4, 75% Latakia? Cut that in half, you still got 3/8, so it's still almost 50%. It's still a very heavy Latakia blend for a lot of people. If you told me there were 2 commercial blends in it, I might guess pirate cake. I probably wouldn't guess the haunted bookshop. So those of you who think that haunted bookshop is a little too harsh, oh, this might be a blend for you to try. It is good. Have to give it that. Thank you, Cosmo. Yep, good stuff. Brett the Bearded Piper is having a 100 sub gaw. His link will be down below. He wanted us to discuss either a favorite teacher or favorite subject, something that had an impact on us in our education. Well, I didn't have just one. Let's start with kindergarten. In Alabama, when I was a kid, kindergarten was optional, so my parents sent me to a small church kindergarten where I had Miss Betty. Now, Miss Betty was a sweetheart. My mom tells me that she cried many days after school because she thought there was something demonic or just off about me. My favorite color to color with in kindergarten was black. First and second grades, not good. Public schools in Alabama, absolutely horrendous, at least at the time. As an example, I got low marks in spelling because when my teacher would say doe, I would spell it D-O-E instead of D-O-O-R. Yet another reason that oral spelling tests should always include a contextual sentence. For a variety of reasons, those first 2 years, I got classified as LD, learning deficient or learning disabled. 3rd grade, my parents moved me into private school. Wasn't really any better. I was still a discipline problem, mostly because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Imagine that. Got paddled quite a bit in 3rd grade and didn't learn a thing. 4th grade. 4th grade was a game changer. 4th grade, we moved to Germany. Somehow my teacher, Mrs. Brown, I remember her name because she was in fact brown. Wonderful lady. Somehow she recognized that I was special needs, but not because I was learning deficient, because I was a couple of years ahead of the rest of my class in terms of my abilities. God bless her, she has no idea, maybe, the impact that she had on my life. Because she challenged me. I began to catch up in some areas. We learned multiplication tables in 3rd grade while everybody else did. I didn't. Ironic for someone who went on to become a mathematician that I didn't get my multiplication tables until 5th grade. She worked on them with me in 4th grade, though. She challenged me. 5th grade, Mr. Engel. Mr. Engel was something I needed at that point. He was a masculine male teacher. Sadly, there aren't a whole lot of those, and there weren't even back in the 70s in education. 6th grade, Mr. Pollock. Mr. Pollock continued what Mrs. Brown had begun. He worked with me and one other student so that we finished our designated curriculum by Christmas and spent the entire 2nd semester exploring literature, exploring science, exploring math, learning. It could not have been easy for him. 6th grade for us, there was a contained classroom. We weren't swapping teachers for different subjects. It could not have been easy for Mr. Pollock to do that with 2 students. But his class began my streak of straight A's that didn't end until college. Because he convinced me I could do it. Got me working. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. 10th. Those 4 years. Those 4 years are kind of a blur of growth spurts and hormones. I went from 5'10" in 7th grade to 5'7" at the end of 8th grade. It was a painful growth spurt year. Topped out at 5'10", so I didn't grow a whole lot after that, but that 1 year was something else. And then getting flooded by hormones, I honestly don't remember the names of any of my teachers those 4 years. The only things I remember were chemistry class. My teacher was amused by me, but stopped letting me use Bunsen burners because I managed to get one to shoot a 6-foot flame out the side during one of our labs. And my biology teacher kind of looked the other way when we slipped the crawdad claws and eyes out after our dissection, and they somehow managed to wind up sticking out of somebody's sandwich in the cafeteria the next day. Other than that, I really don't remember my teachers those years. But we get back down to the last 2 years of high school and 2 teachers that really had another solid impact on me. German teacher, Herr Schmidt. Tell you what, I always thought he was just picking on me to begin with. That culminated one day when he looked out and said, you know, people who wear beards are just idiots. My junior year in high school, I happened to wear a full beard. It didn't dawn on me until after class, and I'd been stewing for about 15 minutes that Herr Schmidt has a beard too. He was just pushing my buttons. He was good for me, though. He worked me hard. I spoke German from having lived in Germany in a small village there, and he made me not take it easily. I think he graded me a little harder. But he also gave me a work opportunity in the summers. He worked me hard there, too. He had a landscaping business during the off-school season. He had me do the digging. He would do the layout. But the best thing about it was at the end of the day, those hot, humid Illinois summers, he'd let me hose off and dive into his pool. Herr Schmidt had a nice pool. He had an even nicer college-age daughter. But he was very clear. 9. He worked me hard. That was probably the first really hard physical work I'd ever done. following actually having to work in a subject that I already knew. But that brings me to the final teacher. Senior year, English composition. Joe Russo. Joe Russo bled red ink all over my papers, and I could not understand it because I considered myself a good writer. She made it clear that I was not a great writer, that I was a good writer. She pushed me that year so that my final paper in her class was submitted to a statewide essay contest and won. I appreciate Mrs. Rousseau for so much. But for making me realize that even things I think I'm good at, I can do better. Not to be complacent. That was a good lesson. I had good teachers in college too. Well, some bad ones as well, but going on long enough on those. We're lucky if we get a couple of good teachers. I was fortunate from 4th grade on to have a string of them that really helped me out. As always, I'll leave a link to Brad's page below. Check him out. He's a nice guy. Now let's do some shout-outs. As usual, I will start out with a few channels that are not yet presenters. And move on to presenters. The Smoking Chimney. Pipe Time. Adam Marks. Thank you all for your support of my channel. I do appreciate it. Got a bunch of presenters this time, and their links will be down below too. Let's dig into them. Aussie Pipe and Tobacco Reviews. They've got 23 subs, and they've already been doing some interesting pipe and tobacco reviews. Give them a look. At Noah's House. At Noah's House seems to do a video every week or two, and they are interesting. Give them a look. He likes Sam Gawith, Black Irish Twist, so can't be all bad, right? Papa Bear's Nook. This guy's got videos that range from 5 minutes to a couple hours, so depending on how much time you've got to sit, he's got something for you. Smokes a very wide variety of blends. Pirate Frog 333. After just having been hit with the layoff, he's back in business again. Excuse me. And he's kind of resumed making videos. Fantastic to see him. Go give him a look. Smurfinelli. I'm not entirely sure how I managed not to have been subscribed to Smurfinelli prior to this. He subbed me and I went, wow, you know, I realized I wasn't subscribed. See his comments. He's got an adorable little assistant, some of his videos. Posts every once in a while. Give him a look. Let's see here. Imawrench. Imawrench has been doing this a while. He hasn't posted since Christmas. Give him a little sub love. See if we can get him back in front of the camera this year. Now my last two. I tell you. These guys keep unsubscribing and resubscribing and unsubscribing. I think they just want me to shout them out more often. Actually, I think YouTube's doing the same thing they do to all of us and unsubscribing us from channels without our knowing. And it has happened to me so often. In fact, it happened to me with one of these guys, and I had to go back and resubscribe to him. Irritating, irritating. But I'm going to play your silly game and give you a shout out, even though you have already been shouted out. And that would be Smartiebob and Recovering Know-It-All. So whether you're gaming the system or suffering from it, you'll get your link down below. Well, folks, this community is growing. It's a fantastic thing. It brings in such a wide variety of backgrounds, and whether it's your religious and political upbringing or current views, or if you stay away from that entirely and you just fall into, you know, an aromatic camp or an English camp, or you don't like camps at all and you like to smoke at everything. It's a fantastic big tent. Take a look at these channels. Find some you like. Make some more connections. Then, like something you like. Watch some videos. Leave some comments. Enjoy your afternoon.